The valley is a promise whispered on the wind, a green and breathing sanctuary carved between stone teeth, for 13 sons. The clan has known a peace their ancestors would not have understood. The streams are choked with fish, the plains heavy with bison, for these early humans, migrants in a world untouched by their kind. It is the end of a generation-long walk across a bridge of ice. But this new world has its own kings. The first sign is not a roar, but a scent on the air. It is the smell of rot, but not the honest decay of a winter kill. This is the scent of a slaughterhouse, carried from a cottonwood grove half a valley away. Kale, the old man whose eyes see patterns in stone and sky, sends 2 young hunters to scout. They return before midday, their faces masks of chucky fear. They bring no meat, only a story that chills the firelit noon. They found the carcass of a bull mastodon, not a day dead. Its great ribs snapped like twigs and the skull crushed inward. But it was what lay scattered around the kill that silenced the clan. The splintered bones and savage pelts of an entire wolf pack, strewn like chaff. They had challenged the true owner of the kill and had been erased for their audacity. The hunters saw the tracks, a single set, each print a crater in the soft earth, wider than a man's chest. The claw marks gouging the soil like 5 sharpened spears. The clan knows the name. It is a creature from the nightmare stories of the old lands, given impossible form. Arctodius Simos, the giant short-faced bear, an echo from a harsher chapter of prehistoric life. That night, fear is a cold skin on every member of the clan. The fire is built high, the flames pushing back a darkness that feels heavier than ever before. Every snap of a twig in the woods is a footstep. Every rustle of the wind is the monster's breath. This is not a predator they can fight. They're fluted clover spines, masterpieces of flint napping designed to bleed out the largest of the Pleistocene megafauna, seem like children's toys against such a foe. To hunt it is suicide. To share a valley with it is a slow death sentence. Kale watches his people. He sees the young mothers pulling their children closer, the best hunters checking the edges of their spear points with a grim futility. Their long journey, their entire hominid history of survival, has led them here. To be cornered by a ghost that runs down horses and breaks the necks of lions, he knows they cannot run. This valley is too rich, the only sanctuary they have found. They must confront the impossible, or their story ends here. As the others sleep fitfully, Kale's gaze lifts from the fire, past the frightened faces, and settles on the towering cliffs that form the valley's walls. He does not see an escape route. He sees a weapon. The dawn is cold and grey when Kale gathers the clan. He does not speak of courage or victory. Words are inadequate for the scale of the dread that haunts them. Instead, he walks them to the mouth of a narrow canyon, a deep scar carved into the valley's northern wall where game trails converge. He points to the sheer cliffs, then higher still, to the unstable shells of fractured rock and scree that cling to the rim, a catastrophe waiting for a reason. With slow, deliberate gestures, he paints a picture in the air. The beast entering the canyon, lured by a promise of meat. Then, his hands mimic a crushing avalanche from above. It is a language of physics and desperation, an idea so audacious it borders on sacrilege. They are not proposing to hunt the beast. They are proposing to kill a mountain and hope the beast is beneath it. For a long moment, the clan is silent, the enormity of the task sinking in. It is the work of a generation, to be done in a matter of weeks, but in the thin morning light, they see no other path. The work begins. This is a new kind of hunt, one fought not with spears but with leverage and patience. The clan becomes an organism of silent, coordinated effort. The strongest hunters, men accustomed to the explosive energy of a chase, now spend their days as quarrymen. They use heavy dolorite boulders as mauls, striking hardwood and antler wedges into the fissures of the bedrock. The sound is a dull, rhythmic heartbeat of primitive technology, a sound they pray does not carry on the wind. Women, their hands skilled in the delicate work of scraping hides and weaving cordage, now braid thick ropes of bison sinew, creating tethers strong enough to hold back the anger of the stone. Children, their small fingers nimble, are tasked with clearing smaller rocks, creating smooth paths for the larger boulders that must be rolled into position on the precipice. This is a glimpse into the future of human evolution, where intellect and cooperation begin to reshape the very earth. They work under the constant shadow of the Arc de Dios. Its presence is an oppressive weight on the valley. One afternoon, a roar echoes from the plains, a sound of pure, volcanic power that makes the very rock seem to shudder. Every man and woman on the cliff edge freezes, flattened against the stone, their skin prickling with primal fear. They see it a day later, a tawny shape of impossible size and speed, running down a pronghorn herd in the distance. The sight fuels their desperate labor. Kale directs them all. He is the mind of this operation. His ancient eyes seeing the invisible lines of force and fracture in the rock. He orchestrates the placement of each key log that will act as a trigger, the careful positioning of each massive boulder that will serve as the hammer blow. His foresight is their only shield against an enemy of pure instinct and brute force. As the trap takes shape, a web of ropes and balanced stones hanging 100 feet above the canyon floor. The hunters prepare the final, terrible piece of the plan. They need bait, something loud, bloody, and irresistible. A lone bull bison is singled out. The hunt is a brutal, calculated affair. They do not kill it cleanly with their elegant clovis points. They cripple it, hamstringing the great beast at the mouth of the canyon. Its bellows of pine and rage intended as the dinner bell for the king of this new world. For 3 days, there is only the sound of the wounded bison in the wind. The clan remains hidden on the cliffs, a silent gallery of executioners. Their nerves are frayed 2 threads of raw sinew. Then, on the 3rd evening, the ground begins to hum. A low, resonant tremor that has nothing to do with geology. It comes from the west, a moving weight that shakes the very bones of the ancient earth. The bear appears at the edge of the tree line, a flowing mass of muscle and shaggy fur. It moves with the unhurried arrogance of an apex predator that has never known fear. It is larger than they had dared to remember, a creature from a forgotten, more violent age of prehistoric life. The wind carries the scent of the dying bison, and the beast turns its great head, its small, black eyes fixing on the canyon mouth. It enters the narrow passage without hesitation. The crippled bison bellows one last time, a note of terror that is cut short by a single, shattering blow from a paw the size of a shield. As the bear lowers its head to feed, Cal gives the signal. A shrill hawk's cry. On the cliff rim, stone axes flash in the fading light, severing the sinew ropes. The trap springs. The first wave of rock and screed comes down, a dry, cracking roar that fills the sky. Boulders the size of men crash into the canyon, striking the bear's flank and back. It roars, a sound of agony and fury, and for a moment, it staggers, half buried. But it is not dead. The avalanche has wounded it, enraged it, but the kill shot, a massive, precariously balanced keystone, has jammed, caught on a ledge of granite. The great bear, with impossible strength, begins to heave itself from the rubble, its eyes now fixed on the tiny figures on the cliff above. It is going to get free. The plan has failed. In that instant, Kale sees the single, horrifying truth. The keystone must fall. He doesn't shout. He does not wave. He simply moves, grabbing a thick log left as a lever. He runs to the jammed boulder. The others watch, frozen, as the old man, the mind of the clan, jams the log into the fissure beneath the keystone. He puts his entire, weary weight into it, his muscles screaming. The granite groans. The keystone shifts, teetering on the brink. Below, the bear lurches forward, almost clear. Kale gives one last, desperate heave. The keystone breaks free. It falls, followed by a final, thunderous curtain of rock that buries the canyon floor 10 feet deep. The bear vanishes. So does Kale. The silence that descends is absolute, broken only by the trickling of dust. The clan, their clan of ancient humans, stares down at the tomb they have made, They are safe. The valley is theirs, and the architect of their survival, the man who gifted them their future, is now a part of the stone. His ultimate lesson in survival skills was one of sacrifice. The rock slide in the North Canyon becomes a landmark, a permanent alteration of the landscape. It is the first great act of engineering in this new world, a monument of silent stone. In the field of archaeology, it would be called a feature, but for the people who live in its shadow, it is a memory and a lesson. The clan thrives. They are the true masters of the valley now, not because they are the strongest, but because they have learned to make the earth itself their weapon. This is the pivotal turn in the story of our human ancestors. It is the moment when the strategic mind, the power of the collective, proves it can overcome the most formidable individual force that nature can create. Their victory is not written in heroic tales, but in the quiet confidence of their children, who grow up without ever knowing the fear of the shadow that hunted hunters. Their story, and Kale's sacrifice, becomes the bedrock of their society, a truth more fundamental than any piece of lithic technology, that the survival of the many sometimes requires the ultimate price from the one, and in that hard-won clearing, a new kind of human, a Homo sapiens defined by foresight and community, begins to build the world we now inherit.